Winter doesn't just bring cold air, it delivers death notices. Each year, the snow returns, and hundreds of people in the richest country on Earth freeze to death on sidewalks and in doorways. They don't die because temperatures drop. They die because nobody bothers to care that they do.
It sucks. It's getting colder and colder, and they keep moving us around. Like, where did they expect us to go? Like, we have totally nowhere to go. Every spot that we have to camp, they come in, kick us out.
A ripped sleeping bag, a scrap of cardboard beneath an overpass, a few wrinkled bills, that's all they've got to stand between them and winter's quiet, merciless strike. This isn't simply a weather problem. This is America allowing its homeless to disappear one frozen night after another, as if their lives were disposable. And now another winter is beginning. Are you just gonna walk by again? Or finally stop?
We do got shit. You know what? Don't touch my lawn. How about you let somebody come into your home and take the bullshit that you have?
Winter in America, the season that tests humanity.
It was a real painstaking because you could never really hardly get any sleep those nights, especially when it was really cold outside.
Winter in America is more than cold weather. It's a battle to stay alive. When the first snow hits, the cold becomes a barrier between people with housing and people without it. For those living outside, every night can mean frostbite illness or even death. The CDC says nearly 700 people die from exposure each winter, many of them sleeping in cars, tents, or on the sidewalk. Shelters fill up quickly, and once they're full, the streets become the only option.
For me, being homeless in the wintertime was horrible. I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy, man. This is the worst thing I could possibly think of because it's not fun.
But what does survival look like when you're alone in the freezing dark?
You really don't know what the next day is going to hold. You really live day by day out here. Some days you just want to cry yourself to sleep because you feel helpless and hopelessness.
Across the country, outreach teams hand out coats, blankets, and hot food, but the need is always greater than what they can give. Cities open warming centers, but many close after a few days, or when the temperature rises a little. It's a harsh reality. Staying alive often depends on chance strength and the kindness of strangers. And the numbers don't show the whole truth. Every statistic is a real person with a story, a memory, and a hope that someone still notices them. Homeless in America isn't just a policy issue. It reflects who we are as a society. How can a nation that aims for the stars still let people freeze on its streets? And winter isn't the same everywhere. Some states are colder, rougher, and far more dangerous. In those places, making it through the night without shelter becomes almost impossible. So let's head to the coldest parts of this country to see what winter truly means for those with nowhere to stay warm. Alaska, where survival becomes a prayer. In Alaska, winter isn't just cold, it's unforgiving. Temperatures sit below zero for weeks. The wind cuts through heavy jackets, and daylight fades fast, leaving the streets frozen and quiet. For anyone without shelter, this isn't weather. It's a race against the clock. Local reports say Anchorage has over 2,600 people experiencing homelessness, and every year dozens don't make it to spring. How do you stay alive in a place where even the ground turns to ice? Some try to sleep near old steam vents or under bridges where warm air leaks out. Others sit inside broken cars wrapped in layers, hoping the cold won't break through. Volunteers drive through the night with food and blankets, but even they admit they can't reach everyone. The state opens emergency shelters during the coldest nights, but many people never get inside. Some are afraid to lose what little they have, some battle addiction, and others simply can't handle crowded rooms after years alone. A body can only take so much. The heart slows, the fingers freeze, and by dawn, another life is gone on the side of the road. Homeless in America show its harshest faces here. It's not about numbers, it's about human limits and how long someone can fight when the world stops paying attention. When you see frost on a tent or footsteps frozen in the snow, you can't help wondering how many more winters can people survive like this. But Alaska is only the first stop. There are other places in this country where the cold doesn't just freeze the air, it crushes hope. Next, we head down to North Dakota, where the wind feels like a blade, and staying alive can be as fragile as a single breath. North Dakota, the wind that doesn't forgive. In North Dakota, winter isn't just weather, it's a test of how much a person can endure. The air feels like shattered glass hitting your skin, and the snow seems permanent, covering everything for months. For anyone without shelter, this cold isn't discomfort, it's danger. Temperatures stay below zero for days or weeks, and people search for any corner the wind can't reach. Some mornings in Fargo or Bismarck outreach teams find someone who didn't survive the night. Every year they repeat the same words, "We got there too late." How do you stay alive when even the air feels like it's against you? Many walk through the night just to keep their bodies warm. Others sit near vents that leak heat from buildings or hide in stairwells, hoping for a bit of shelter, but the warmth never lasts. By sunrise, the streets go quiet again, and the cold takes another win. Some people drink or use drugs not to escape life, but to trick their bodies into feeling warm. For a moment, the shaking stops. Then the heart slows, the body shuts down, and they never wake up. Officers often find them sitting upright, as if they just drifted off. Moments like these show how fragile life becomes when no one is watching. Even here, kindness still shows up. Churches open on the worst nights. Strangers leave coats and blankets in places where someone might need them. Volunteers push through the snow with hot drinks and food, trying to reach people before the cold does. It's proof that compassion can survive even when everything else freezes. But it leaves one hard question behind. If ordinary people can care, why can't our system do the same? Minnesota is next on this frozen path, a place where compassion and politics collide, and both fight to hold their ground against the cold. Minnesota, the politics of cold compassion. Minnesota calls itself the North Star State, but for thousands without shelter, that star barely shines through long, heavy winters. Here, the cold shows up early and refuses to leave. The Mississippi freezes over tents, collapse under the weight of snow, and downtown streets become wind tunnels that cut through every layer you wear. For people without a home, every winter night becomes a choice between finding a bed or finding a way to stay alive. How does a state known for kindness still let people sleep in the snow? Every year, city halls fill with debates about budgets, safety, and zoning, while the people they're arguing about are shivering right outside. Some shelters shut early because funds run out. Others can't add new beds fast enough. And when temperatures drop into single digits, the line between policy and tragedy disappears. Outreach workers say they often see people waiting for help that never arrives. In Minneapolis, tents disappear, and come back again. Police clear one camp and another forms down the block. Local reports show rising deaths from exposure, especially among older men and veterans. Some use small propane heaters inside their tents to keep warm, only to breathe in toxic fumes through the night. Still, Minnesota keeps trying. Volunteers hand out food in the snow churches, stay open late, and neighborhoods run coat drives for people they'll never meet. Homeless in America feels personal here. It's about neighbors, not strangers. But good intentions can only do so much when the system moves slower than a winter storm. So the question stands, what happens when compassion gets stuck in paperwork and politics? The next state, Maine, offers part of the answer, a place where cold meets isolation and silence can be as dangerous as frost. Maine, where silence freezes too. Winter in Maine doesn't roar, it settles quietly. There are no violent blizzards or wild winds like other northern states. Here the cold sinks in slowly and stays. The streets of Portland and Bangor look peaceful, but that calm hides a quiet fight. People sleep in cars near the harbor, in tents behind parking lots or under bridges. No one walks at night. Snow falls softly, not in chaos, covering everything, even the people with nowhere else to go. What do you do when even hope feels icy? By afternoon, most shelters are already full. Those who arrive late wait outside in heavy coats praying a bed opens, or a volunteer can squeeze in one more person. Others stay in their cars, running the engine until the gas is gone, trading warmth for exhaustion. Some walk through empty streets all night just to keep moving. The ocean and the wind blend into one sound, constant cold and uncaring. Maine's struggle isn't only the cold, it's the distance. Towns are far apart, and help can be miles away. When buses stop after dark, people are stuck where they stand. Many refuse to leave the small camps by the shore because it's the only place that feels familiar, a little community of people facing the same fight. Here, isolation isn't a feeling, it's reality. Even in this stillness, kindness survives. Fishermen leave spare blankets near their boats. Cafe owners bring hot coffee to the pier at sunrise. Volunteers walk frozen sidewalks, checking tents, making sure no one has quietly slipped away in the night. These acts don't reach the headlines, but they save lives. Maine shows us the crisis isn't always loud. Sometimes it hides in small towns, frozen rivers, and quiet roads under slow, steady snow. Here, compassion doesn't come from big programs. It comes from people who simply refuse to look away. But the story doesn't end in Maine. Across America, there are places where cold is only one enemy, and loneliness, addiction, and despair take turns testing the human spirit. And in one of those places, the fight to survive becomes quieter, but just as real. Wyoming, the invisible state. Wyoming is quiet and breathtaking, wide skies, open plains, and winters that seem endless. But behind that beauty is a reality most people never notice. When the temperature drops and the wind sweeps over the land, there's nowhere to escape it. The mountains hold snow for months, and the small towns between them grow colder and emptier. For people without a home, this isolation becomes its own kind of freeze, the kind that settles deep inside. What happens to someone when help is too far away to reach them? In many Wyoming towns, there are no shelters, no buses after dark, and no nearby hospitals. People find cover wherever they can: an empty cabin, a parked truck, a gas station corner that stays open all night. Some walk for hours just to stay warm, following the faint glow of highway lights. By morning, new snow covers the footprints, and another night's struggle disappears without a sound. Those who live here often carry the responsibility alone. A farmer leaves his barn unlocked for travelers. A librarian gathers gloves and scarves for anyone who needs them. A retired nurse drives back roads with hot coffee and basic medical supplies. These small acts don't make the news, but they're what keep humanity alive when the system stays silent. The tragedy in Wyoming isn't only the cold, it's the invisibility. There are too few witnesses, too little outrage, too little noise. People fade into winter not with a shout, but with a whisper. And in that silence, another danger begins to grow. Because when the body goes cold, the mind reaches for warmth in any form it can find. And that's where the next story starts, not with the snow outside, but with the fire people try to light inside just to survive. Addiction, the fire within the cold. Winter has a way of revealing what's already weak. For people living outside, the cold steals warmth and addiction steals strength. Together, they create a quiet storm that claims lives long before help arrives. Across many cities, the connection between freezing temperatures and substance use is becoming impossible to ignore. Health workers in Anchorage, Minneapolis, and Denver report that overdoses often rise during the coldest months. When people are desperate to feel warm, they reach for whatever brings even a few minutes of relief: alcohol, opioids, or fentanyl. Why do so many turn to drugs when the temperature drops? It's not a simple choice. When your hands go numb and your body shakes non-stop, anything that promises warmth feels like survival. These substances trick the brain into feeling heat, but they also slow the heart and breathing. That's why emergency teams carry Narcan along with blankets and food. They aren't fighting one crisis, they're fighting two that fuel each other: exposure and addiction. Every winter, outreach teams tell the same heartbreaking stories: people found unconscious just steps from shelter doors that closed hours earlier. Some die alone in cars or empty buildings. The tragedy isn't only the cold, it's that these deaths didn't have to happen. Experts call it a dual emergency, where neglect and addiction collide in freezing weather. And yet there are moments of hope. A man enters treatment after losing a friend. A young woman finally accepts a ride to a shelter after weeks of saying no. Volunteers talk about small victories, someone choosing life for one more day. In winter, that choice is an act of courage. Addiction in cold places isn't about moral failure. It's about trying to survive in a system that often looks away. Education, treatment, and steady healthcare matter just as much as food or shelter. If communities invest in outreach and long-term support, fewer lives will end quietly in the cold. Still, the question remains: how did a country with so much knowledge allow this much pain to feel normal? Winter will always come back, but our indifference doesn't have to. As the snow falls again, we have to ask whether we'll finally pay attention or let the same story repeat itself. The cost of indifference, what the cold reveals about us. When the snow melts and the headlines fade, most people move on. But for those who spent winter on the streets, the damage doesn't disappear with the ice. Frostbite becomes an infection, trauma becomes memory, and the fear of the next storm never really goes away. Every year we promise to care more, yet each winter repeats the same quiet loss, a pattern of survival and neglect that shows what it means to be left behind. Why do we let this keep happening? Maybe because the suffering is slow, quiet, and hidden. There are no sirens when someone freezes alone. No breaking news when a man dies in his car because the shelter ran out of beds. Indifference has become normal, a coldness not from weather, but from conscience. We've learned to look past what should stop us in our tracks. In many ways, this is the real face of the winter homeless crisis in the USA. It's not only the freezing nights or the addiction that fills the silence. It's what the cold shows about us, how easily comfort can cover compassion. Every blanket shared, every shelter opened, every moment someone is treated with dignity is a small act of resistance against that blindness. I think often about the people I met while filming this cold state homelessness documentary. Their eyes stay with me, not because of what they lost, but because of what we lose when we stop seeing them. So maybe the real question isn't how the homeless survive winter. It's how we do. How do we as a society live with the weight of our own indifference? Because winter will come again. And whether we want it or not, the story of America will be written in the frost.